Have you ever stood at the precipice of a dream, gazing into the vast, intimidating chasm between where you are and where you aspire to be? That chasm isn't empty. It's filled with doubt, fear, and the whispers of impossible. But what if I told you that chasm isn't meant to swallow you, but to transform you? What if every obstacle isn't a barrier, but a stepping stone forged in fire, designed to make you stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever imagined? Meet Alex. Not a superhero, not a prodigy, just a person with a dream as vivid as the sunrise and a stark reality as cold as a winter night. Alex wanted to achieve something monumental, something that seemed audacious to everyone around him, including himself at times. It wasn't about fame or fortune. It was about proving to himself that he could push beyond perceived limits, that he could sculpt a life of purpose and impact. His goal was to launch an innovative, sustainable energy solution, a project that required years of relentless research, development, and an unwavering belief in the face of constant setbacks. The journey began not with a bang, but with a series of frustrating fizzles. Early prototypes failed spectacularly. Funding proposals were rejected with polite but firm letters. Experts shook their heads, citing impossible technical hurdles and market saturation. Each no, each failed experiment felt like a personal assault, a confirmation of his deepest insecurities. But Alex, even in those early days, harbored a flicker of understanding. These difficulties weren't detours. They were the path. He began to see them not as reasons to quit, but as essential feedback loops, pointing him towards stronger designs, better strategies, and a deeper understanding of the problem he was trying to solve. He learned to dissect each failure, extracting every ounce of data, every lesson, like a prospector panning for gold in a river of mud. He understood that embracing and overcoming these difficulties wasn't optional. It was an essential part of his growth and eventual success. There were days, weeks even, when the pain of progress felt unbearable. The late nights blurred into early mornings, fueled by stale coffee and a stubborn refusal to surrender. His body ached. His mind felt like a tangled mess of code and calculations, and the loneliness of his pursuit pressed down on him. Friends drifted away, unable to comprehend his singular focus. Family worried, urging him to pursue a safer path. But something deep within, Alex refused to yield. He remembered a quote he'd once read: "The only way out is through." He embraced the discomfort, the exhaustion, understanding that true growth often sprouts from the soil of struggle. He kept moving forward, one small, deliberate step at a time, even when every fiber of his being screamed for him to stop. He simply would not give up, no matter how painful or difficult things became. Alex quickly learned that fleeting bursts of motivation were like sugar rushes, exciting but unsustainable. What truly propelled him forward was something far less glamorous: daily discipline. He established non-negotiable routines. Every morning before the sun, he was at his workbench, not waiting for inspiration, but creating it through consistent effort. He dedicated specific hours to research, development, networking, and even physical exercise, knowing his mind and body needed to be in peak condition. He wasn't doing extraordinary things every day. He was doing ordinary things, analyzing data, tweaking designs, writing emails, but he was doing them with extraordinary consistency and commitment. The magic, he often told himself, isn't in the grand gesture, but in the relentless accumulation of small, intentional acts. Daily discipline, he discovered, was far more important than temporary motivation. One of Alex's biggest fears was public speaking and networking. The thought of presenting his nascent ideas to potential investors or industry giants filled him with dread. His hands would sweat, his voice would quaver, and his mind would go blank. But he knew that avoiding these discomforts would be a death knell for his project. So he voluntarily confronted them. He joined a local Toastmasters club, practicing his pitch to a small, supportive audience. He forced himself to attend industry conferences, even if it meant standing awkwardly by himself, forcing himself to initiate conversations. Each uncomfortable interaction, each fumbled word was a tiny victory, building his confidence brick by painful brick. He learned that fear, when faced head-on, begins to shrink, replaced by a quiet strength. He had voluntarily confronted fear and discomfort to become stronger. As Alex pushed through these challenges, something profound began to shift within him. He started cultivating what he called a champion's mindset. It wasn't about arrogance. It was about an unshakable belief in his own potential and the viability of his vision. He began to visualize success, not just the outcome, but the process, the grind, the inevitable setbacks, and his unwavering response to them. He replaced self-doubt with affirmations, not empty platitudes, but statements rooted in his daily efforts. I am capable. I am resilient. I will find a way. This internal dialogue became his most powerful ally, especially on days when external validation was scarce. He learned to silence the inner critic and amplify the inner champion, believing in himself and his abilities above all else. Procrastination, Alex realized, was the assassin of dreams. He adopted a do-it-now philosophy. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect solution, he took immediate, imperfect action. A complicated problem, break it down into the smallest possible step and tackle that first. A daunting email, send it. A difficult conversation, have it. This continuous momentum, no matter how small each step, created an unstoppable force. He wasn't waiting for inspiration. He was creating it through action. Each tiny victory built on the last, forming a staircase out of the chasm. He learned to act immediately, without hesitation, and take small, continuous steps. There was a particularly devastating failure. A crucial component of his energy system unexpectedly melted down during a high-stakes demonstration to a potential investor. The investor walked away, shaking his head. Alex was crushed. For a moment, despair threatened to consume him. But then, he remembered his commitment to learning. He didn't wallow. He investigated. He spent days meticulously analyzing the failure, discovering a subtle material fatigue he had overlooked. This wasn't just a mistake. It was a revelation. It led him to a stronger, more robust design, a critical improvement that would have otherwise remained undiscovered. He understood then that failures weren't endpoints. They were signposts, guiding him toward true innovation. Every stumble became a lesson. Every setback, a setup for a comeback. He learned from failures and mistakes, turning them into opportunities for growth and improvement. As the years rolled on, Alex's project slowly gained traction. Small grants came in. A few dedicated engineers joined his team, drawn by his passion and relentless spirit. Yet, Alex never lost sight of the deeper purpose. He wasn't just building an energy system. He was building himself. He realized that the greatest reward wasn't the eventual success or recognition, but the person he had become in the process. He was no longer the timid, easily discouraged individual who started. He was resilient, disciplined, courageous, and deeply empathetic. The external results were merely a byproduct of his internal transformation. He understood that chasing only the outcome was like climbing a mountain just for the view. The true richness was in the climb itself, in every strained muscle and breathtaking vista. He focused on the process and the person he became, rather than just pursuing external results or rewards. His journey, despite the growing team, remained deeply personal and often solitary. There were moments of profound loneliness, times when he felt like he was the only one who truly believed in the audaciousness of his vision. He learned to be his own loudest cheerleader, his most rigorous coach, and his most compassionate supporter. He celebrated his small victories privately and comforted himself through his defeats. He understood that while collaboration was essential, the core drive, the unwavering belief, had to originate within him. Before anyone else could champion his cause, he had to champion himself. The path of excellence, he discovered, is often solitary. you must be your own biggest supporter first. Finally, after years of relentless effort, Alex faced his ultimate test, securing the massive investment needed for large-scale production. It required a bold, almost reckless move. He had to pivot his entire business model, betting everything on a new, unproven market strategy. It was a terrifying leap, with no guarantees. He could have played it safe, sought smaller, more secure footholds, but Alex had learned to fall forward. He embraced the risk, understanding that stagnation was a greater threat than failure. He presented his revised vision with conviction, armed with years of hard-won experience and an unshakable belief in his team and his technology. He wasn't seeking safety. He was seeking impact. He chose to embrace risks and fall forward instead of seeking a safe foothold. The story of Alex's sustainable energy solution is now a testament to what's possible. His technology powers communities, reduces carbon footprints, and inspires countless others. But the real story isn't just about the innovative product. It's about Alex. It's about the transformation of a person who dared to dream, who embraced every difficulty as a growth opportunity, who understood that discipline trumps motivation, who confronted his fears, developed an unshakable mindset, acted without hesitation, learned voraciously from every mistake, and focused on the journey as much as the destination. His journey reminds us that success isn't the absence of struggle, it's the mastery of it. It's not about avoiding the chasm, but about building bridges across it, one disciplined, resilient, and courageous step at a time. So, what dream are you standing at the precipice of? Step forward. Embrace the chasm. Your greatest strength isn't just waiting to be discovered, it's waiting to be forged.